Hi everyone, this is Mindy and welcome back to another video with Pretty Pink Posh. In today's video, I decided to stretch my Christmas stamps a little bit by making it more of a general themed card. I'm also going to take that a step further and make this more non-traditional colors as well. So I'm going to be starting with the Snowflake Stencil, and I'm going to hold this down over a piece of 80-pound white cardstock using my Make Art Station. And then I'm going to start applying some Misty Coast ink, which is a really, really light gray ink. I wanted something in the background, but I didn't want it to overpower my design. So using a blending brush, I'm just going to gently go over all of the areas using that light gray ink. So after I finish my blending across the entire panel, I can lift that up and I have a really nice subtle snowflake background. Now I'm going to take the Pine Wreath stamp set and I'm using that main wreath image. I placed it on some white cardstock. Again, this is 80-pound. And this time I'm going to stamp in Blue Jay ink. So any type of blue ink for this will work, or really any color will work for this. I just wanted something that was a little less traditional in colors. Now I'm also going to take a lot of the smaller elements from that stamp set, lay them on some 80-pound white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp these down twice actually in some alcohol ink friendly ink. Now, the reason I say alcohol ink friendly ink is because I'm using an alcohol ink marker, but I'm not using my Copics today. Today, I am using my Triblend markers. I've been experimenting with these and I really do enjoy coloring with them, mainly because I have three different shades all in one marker. So I really have been enjoying that feature. The only real downside I have found with these markers at this point is that I believe they're not refillable. So if I use one color more than another, I'd have to purchase a whole new marker for that. But these are brand new, so there's still lots of ink left in them, lots of coloring life left in them. Now, in this particular video, when I was coloring, I was still using 80-pound Neenah white cardstock, but I have found that coloring more on a smooth cardstock like Express It or Hammer Mill does take this ink a lot better. For quite a while, I was bleeding through my lines, meaning my ink was going outside of the ink line that I stamped. And I discovered that that was a lot to do with my paper. So I have switched that up since this video and I now use Express It or Hammer Mill. So I'm just going through to color all of my images, adding a little bit of shading to each one. So I'm starting with a dark marker on one side and having it blend out to that lighter color on the opposite side of whether it's the ornament or the star. And I'm also trying to pick some more non-traditional colors, like I have some teals and I have kind of this different shade of green that I would normally use for an ornament, not your regular green, but kind of more of a tealish type of green. And I really just wanted to change it up and stretch my look of my stamps and how they look on the front of the card. So by doing it this way, I'm able to send this past Christmas time. Now, this is a great wreath, so I could also use this wreath and decorate it with maybe some flowers or spring images. So this wreath stamp set can really go a long way. Now, once everything is colored, I do cut them out with the coordinating dies, and then I'm bringing this wreath over to my panel that I created with the snowflakes. I use that as a guide to place my sentiment in the center. This sentiment comes from the Mouse Friends stamp set, which is a super cute stamp set, but it also has this really versatile greeting that says just a little note. Once again, making this so I can send it at any time of the year. Now I'm going to give this card a little dimension by adding some foam circles to the back of my wreath. And then once I remove that backing of the foam squares, I'm using my tweezers to kind of hold this and hover this over my sentiment. I just want to make sure that my margins are even on each side. And I kind of turned it a little bit, so I'm making the most room to fit my entire sentiment. I didn't want any of the part of the wreath covering that up. Then I'm also taking these smaller images that I die cut out and I'm starting off by placing them on my wreath. That way I know where they're going and that I have enough room for each one of them. Once I have them placed where I want, I have some small foam squares placed on the back and then I can just remove the backing and place those back on where I originally had put them. To step this up just a little bit more and add a touch of detail, I'm taking a white Jelly Roll pen and just adding that to my bow and also to my smaller images. When it starts to feel like it's not writing, I kind of just rub it on my hand to get that ink flowing again. And that's going to finish off my card project for today, where I am stretching the use of my seasonal stamp sets. I hope you enjoyed today's video and you found inspiration in it. Thanks so much for joining me today.